Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about Dunson Dragons, and we're going to talk about forgiveness from one player to another. Um, so this is So I want to talk about what happens at the Dunson Dragons table, but I also want to talk about what prompts this, which is a movie I just saw. It's called Lyle Crocodile. It was absolutely fantastic. No spoilers for the movie in this. But when I watched this film, it got me vexed at the start of the movie. By the end of the movie, it really prompted me to remember the value of forgiveness, and so I'm going to share that with you, because I think sometimes as players, we have the right to not forgive, but forgiveness is valuable and needed, and I think sometimes it's needed at the Dungeons and Dragons table. All right, so let's get into this. So I went to see Lyle Crocodile, and I was excited to see the film, and it far exceeded my expectations. It's a 5 out of 5 star movie. I highly recommend seeing it, and it has some D&D crossovers, none of which I'm gonna get into in this video. I want to keep this video focused, and so I roll into Lyle Crocodile, and and I'm really enjoying the movie. And record scratch. Whoa, is that Constance Wu up in this film? Do not like. Now, why do I not like Constance Wu? Well, Constance Wu was in Fresh Prince. Was in Fresh Off the Boat, which I watched, and I really enjoyed that series. It was an American sitcom, and I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. But near the end of its series run, Constance Wu publicly declared that she was disappointed that the show that made her a star was picked up for another season. And the reason why is, at this point, Crazy Rich Asians had hit, and Constance Wu's got a little Hollywood juice under her belt, right? And she's like, "Oh, why am I stuck on the small screen when I should be on the big screen?" And she took all of her co-stars from Fresh Off the Boat, many of who were incredibly talented, and she threw them under the boat and was like, "Oh, woe is me. I really, really wish that I did not have to be in Fresh Off the Boat for another season, because I don't belong here. I'm no longer," just openly disgusted on Twitter. Like, it was like, "Oh my gosh, woe is me. The show that ran for multiple seasons and made me a star is keeping me from my bigger, better, I'm paraphrasing what she said on Twitter, from my, big screen days. And all my co-stars who have served well as human rungs on my ladder to success are no longer needed." It was, go check it out. I'm telling you, people were bent. Like, it was very, a lot of people were upset, right? And well, they should have been, right? Like, she definitely, it was repugnant. It was really repugnant behavior. And frankly, I was torqued, right? Because I watched all of that series, right? And I was not happy, right? That's not how you should treat people who you are making art with. It is just repugnant, utterly repugnant behavior, right? And so the moment I saw her in this movie, I'm like, and I was just spinning up. So I'm watching, Lyle Crocodile, and I'm like, I'm going to tear this movie a new one when I get on YouTube, right? But here's the problem. Constance Wu knocked it out of the park and did a great job as the mother in Lyle Crocodile. And Lyle Crocodile turned out to be a 5-star movie, and frankly, I'm not sure anybody could have played the boy who had the pet, Lyle Crocodile, all that's in the trailer, as his pet. And she really did a fantastic job, right? And so her performance forced me to extend forgiveness, and I'm okay now. And I think I'm going to drop my little Constance Wu grudge, right? And just say, hey, she's a human being. She made a mistake. And at this point, I'm not going to wait for her to, show her fangs for the people currently in Lyle Crocodile. I'm going to say, okay, all right, I forgive you, Constance Wu. You did a really good job in this movie. This movie is amazing. And, hey, everything's forgiven, right? So where does this connect with Dunson Dragon? So recently, I was in an index card RPG game, which was Mass Effect. And one of my fellow player characters, right? Now, this happened in an index card RPG game. What's that got to do with D&D? Well, if you don't know, the index card RPG is the best redux of Dunson Dragons that exists on the planet. And you treat yourself. Get the index card Master Edition. It is outside of TSR and WotC. There ain't a better TTRPG book printed on this planet. It is the best. And then the reason why it's the best is it's a redux. It's an amazing redux of Dungeons & Dragons, right? So I feel like this is Dungeons & Dragons related. All right. So here's the thing. So this shenanigans player that we have in our group, at the end of the Mass Effect story, shot my character, Christopher Core, in the head and killed him, right? I was torqued. I was seriously bent and not happy, right? And in reality, I was so upset about it that it really made me question. Not only did I question if this player should even be at our table, I questioned if I should even be this person's friend. Because literally, dozens of hours of my time, right, were worth a 5-second joke to this player. And this player laughed when they killed my player character at the end of a tabletop role-playing game series, right? We had run multiple seasons of this, right? And I had really invested a lot into this character, Christopher Core, who was he was actually a captain, and had his own ship, the USS Midway, which was the same type of ship as Shepard, right? And I was really bent. I was like seriously bent, right? And the day after it happened, I was seriously like, how can I get this person off the table, right? However, one of the things I've learned about myself is I need to give things time to cool, right? And so by day 3 or 4, I was spun down a bit. And the reality is this player never apologized, never even acknowledged what he had done. And here's the thing, I don't think he has any clue what he did. And the reason why is he doesn't invest anything in his characters. His characters are, useless tripe that is... They don't mean anything to him. They don't mean anything to me. They don't mean anything to the world, right? It's just a pile of numbers and a name, right? So and he doesn't understand things like manifold sentience or really investing in a character or layering your empathy with a player character's empathy, things like that. He doesn't think about Dungeons and Dragons in that way, right? And the reality is, I'm realizing there is differences. There are differences in people's ability to show empathy and to understand narrative. And even though there was never an apology from this player, I realized I needed to forgive. Sometimes, as a player, we need to extend forgiveness to another player. And the reality is, I think I would be completely justified to continue my grudge toward this player, to continue my grudge toward this person, Constance Wu, but it's not gracious, it's not kind, it's not tolerant, right? And as Dungeons and Dragons dungeon masters, as Dungeons and Dragons players, Gary showed us a better path, right? He built this beautiful, platform, which is the most powerful narrative engine that's ever been created. And he lived a life where with Dungeons and Dragons, he encouraged each and every one of us to combat our deficiencies, to interact with people and build the most robust relationships we can with them, and to explore ourselves, explore humanity, and explore this earth and explore the stars. He pointed us to better selves. And I think better selves point us toward kindness, tolerance, and forgiveness. That's my humble opinion. What's yours? Let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.